So, Madam Kathleen van Brandt, on the agriculture, I think I already responded. If it comes to the sustainability and, of course, sustainability chapter and Paris Agreement, I think that I made it quite clear. If not, so I'll be repeating myself, and of course we are ready to go in a greater detail, because probably it would require to go through the text and proper explanations, but there are absolutely strong commitments and they are binding on deforestation, so I can reassure you that EUDR is in, and I think we've been very explicit on this, as well as also on CBAM, and they really know it, and we've been very, very transparent about this. If it comes to trade and sustainability development chapters, we already, as I'm sure you know, have some precedents in using the mechanism under this TSD chapters. We've been using it in South Korea, we've been using it in other disputes when we just simply initiated the process, started, I would say, the dispute settlement process, and the countries where we felt that they are not respecting the TSDs, they corrected their course, and I think we ended up in all, I think, 3 cases where we used it in amicable solution. If it comes to the rebalancing mechanism, we'll be very happy to provide you with the more details and to reassure you this is the well-established mechanism which was used by WTO, by WTO members, and we are doing nothing else here, and it's very elaborate legal structure, very elaborate procedure, which I think is pretty safe, and which also from our perspective is clearly enshrining that what is the acquis is clearly not disputed, and there is also very clear procedures which protect the European regulatory sovereignty. To Mr. Kos, I have to say that he's right. Sometimes, I mean, we need to have this introspection or retrospection. If it comes to the assessment of the FTAs, indeed, we do not have one single evidence that the FTAs, which we concluded, led to worsening of the living standards across Europe. To the contrary, it was not so long ago when you've been discussing the CETA agreement also in your committee, and if it comes to, for example, the today's most sensitive part of our discussion, agri-food products. So here the European exports increased by 26%. And all the sensitive GIs upon which we are so proud as Europeans are protected, and now it's a duty of Canadian government to protect them, and we can control it and we can enforce it. Also, if we look at what impact, for example, CETA had on SMEs. So if you look at the figures, so there is 44% of increase of exports for SMEs. But I agree with Mr. Kos that what needs to be done is to kind of bring the potential of Mercosur agreement to the SMEs in Europe. Currently, I mean, it's quite big numbers. So we have 26,000 SMEs who are already involved in trade, but I believe that we can, of course, consolidate the number, improve it, and we have different ideas how can we organize the outreach information session, also using the communication tools which have been developed by DG Trade. But if more need be done, we will be, of course, very, very happy to do that. Mr. Cohen was asking several questions. He was starting with how did we use the safeguards in the past, and we never used them because we didn't need to use them, because we negotiated agreements well. So we anticipated what would be the income, what would be the consequences, and therefore, even though we had the safeguards, we didn't need to use them, because, as Mr. Kos was referring to, we never ended up in the negative spiral where the safeguards need to be triggered. But we do that to show that we have a means, instruments, if something goes wrong. And in this particular agreement, we've been extremely, extremely careful with that element. But there have been also the question about if we have sector breakdowns, what does it mean for different sectors, what does it mean for different countries. So if you agree, Mr. Chairman, we will supply you with the fact sheets which we developed for our member states, where is the analysis as we see what Mercosur would do on a country-by-country basis. So I think that would be one of the, I would say, the communication tool. It could be also the basis of our discussion. Let's look at the figure. If, let's say, the stakeholders in the member states or some other evidence is being presented that our figures are not correct, we are happy to look at it. But I think we will share, you know, this evidence, these figures with you, and of course we'll be very happy to discuss it, as also your colleague Nina was referring to in a meeting with the farmers. Of course, if it comes to enforcement and European Court of Auditors, here we would maybe need the help with the budgetary authority of the European Parliament. We'll be very happy to have more staff in the Commission. So help us to do that. We'll be very happy to have it. And as a former HR Commissioner who was there responsible for this from 2010 to 2014, I can tell you that it was very, very tough negotiations, and you've been very strict with us. So if you can help us to get more posts, thank you. I'll be very happy to have them. And we will definitely use them for a good cause. One element, if you allow me, from a little bit different portfolio, different part of my portfolio, but very closely linked with you. I hope that with the Polish presidency, we will manage to get to the trilogue stage of what we see as the deepest and most comprehensive customs union reform. We want to have a European Customs Authority. We want to have European customs data, where we would use more analytics, where we can use the modern method, and where we are also introducing absolute new alignment between the customs authorities and market surveillance authorities. So this, where the customs and SPS authorities should work much better together, share the information, be much more efficient, and offer us much better checks, controls, and I would say results in the control, and I hope that we can get there through the good work of the Polish presidency, and we will start the trilogues on this by the end of this semester. Then Madam van Leuven, I really would like to reassure you that in no moment we saw the farmers as the bargaining chips. We would never do that. We are not doing that, and we will never do that in the future. And we know that in the end, the agricultural part of our agreement would be the most sensitive one, and therefore we've been extra careful, and we'll be, of course, very happy to engage with you and also with farmers in the Netherlands to talk about competitiveness of our sector. That would be the task of my colleague Christopher Hausen. He's going to present very soon the strategic vision of agriculture, where we are focusing on reducing administrative burden, reducing reporting obligations, simplification, and overall competitiveness of our economy, and of course the agricultural sectors. And we'll be also very happy to provide you with concrete figures, what this would mean for the Dutch exporters, because if I look at the agreement, this would significantly lower Mercosur high tariffs on Dutch agricultural products such as beer, currently 20%, vegetables, currently 14%, preparation of fruit, nuts and vegetable, up to 22%. So these are the very strong export articles of agri-food sector of the Netherlands, and this will be slashed gradually to zero. So I think if you look at the Netherlands again, you are very competitive, as you rightly pointed out, in the agriculture sector, and I think that you earned more than 50 billion euros from agri-export in 2023. So it's a very competitive field, and we just want to enlarge the scope and possibility for your farmers to export more, but we will be, of course, very happy to engage on concrete figures. And to Monsieur Vincent, he was reflecting between the safeguards and warranty telling us that if you need the warranty, there is no agreement. If you have a safeguards, it's not agreement. And I'm telling you that we are just extra cautious. First and foremost, as it was mentioned a minute ago, we never needed to use the safeguards because the agreement has been well negotiated. And I'm pretty convinced we will not need to use these warranty funds because I have a trust that we negotiated this well. But I also feel that being in such a difficult moment right now, especially for our farmers, that we need to be extra cautious. We need to have extra tools at our disposal, and we just did it to reassure everyone that we are ready for any eventuality, even though we are convinced we would not need to use the warranty. And to Mr. Buda, which I think was the last intervention, and he was going a little bit wider. He was comparing the cost, electricity, and the cost of the production in the EU. Of course, this is much wider discussion. Very soon we will be coming with the elements of clean industrial deal. I know that my colleague Dan Jorgensen is looking at all the possibilities how to reduce the cost of energy in Europe. And because we are aware of these issues, we've been so careful in TRQs. Therefore, the concessions which have been offered to our Mercosur partners been so limited. So, Mr. Chairman, you've been very generous. I went over 2.5 minutes, but I think that all these questions are very relevant, pertinent. I hope that this is opening of our intense exchange on this issue. As I said, we are ready on my level, on the level of our services, and also on the level of our representations in the member states, to come talk to the stakeholders, to come to talk to the agriculture community, and to work with you together to have support what could be the biggest free trade agreement ever, with a huge strategic importance for European Union and Mercosur countries. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks a lot, Marvic. Thanks a lot for this discussion, and I guess it's the first one, and it will be not the last one. We will have a constructive dialogue, and we will go for the ratification process. This was the last point of our agenda. Any other business? Nothing. Carmen is not here. The next meeting is on the 29th of January. Thanks a lot.